I'm a computer scientist by trade, so I did computer science at university. Out of uni, I spent 3 years at Goldman. So I worked in traditional finance. That was mainly in risk tech. So I did kind of like back office stuff, making sure traders were appropriately marking their books and then making sure the firm was managing risk appropriately. So I did that for a few years, but in my heart, I always wanted to work in the games industry. It's kind of what I loved. I grew up playing video games. I love video games. And so I then, about 13 years ago, joined a very early stage startup called Improbable. So I joined there when there was 4 of us. By the time I left, we'd scaled up to about 1,200 people, raised about $700 million in venture funding at a multi-billion-dollar valuation, and had a good ARR, basically. So by the end of it, we obviously pivoted a bunch of times. We were primarily focused on selling technology and services to the games industry, and then the sports and music industry as well, which at the time we called the Metaverse industry. We don't use the word Metaverse anymore. So my journey there, as you can imagine, was very varied, going from like 4 to 1,200. I did pretty much all of the jobs, ranging from engineering the core technology, being the first support engineer when we sold it to our first initial customers, being the first sales engineer, going around while selling it. So I was selling it to all the way from like the big AAA game studios, all the way down to like the little guys. Then just became a sales guy in general, with obviously a technical slant. Did product management for a period of time, so kind of helped inform how we were building the product, the business model, all that kind of stuff. Then went back to the commercial division and did product marketing. So basically formed the go-to-market for the product suites we had, informed how we did that with our sales org and our marketing org, and then eventually became kind of second in command to the commercial division. So very varied in terms of what I did there. I was the guy basically who got given stuff where it's like, we need someone who can do it, basically. So Web3 rise, I got into the space back in 16, 17. So when Ethereum first kind of like started to come up more, I never got Bitcoin. It took me a very long time to understand Bitcoin. I now own a lot of it, but I never got it. I don't really understand verbal goods. I didn't understand it as a form of currency because it was really slow to transact. I was like, I don't get Bitcoin at all. And now I get it as like a digital store of value, but that took me a while to understand. Ethereum, though, I got very quickly. This idea of this kind of globally distributed world computer with a ledger associated with it, I was like, this is really cool. Because obviously I had a financial background and I saw the problems in the finance world and I was like, this could actually transform the financial industry. Then I started to go a bit further and realize actually it could change all of digital assets, basically. And I was imagining a world where everything that was digital in the future would be on the blockchain in some form or fashion with the computer associated with it. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. So internally, I pitched to get a few of our games onto the blockchain. They all thought I was mad. They literally looked at me like, what was this crazy guy talking about? Eventually, I convinced them to give me like a proof of concept team. And I got a couple of the smaller games and we did some proof of concepts. So this, by the way, NFTs weren't even a standard yet. So this is very early. Those experiments did not work, TLDR. Basically, Ethereum was way too early back then. And we were trying to do digital assets at scale. So you had like these games would have tens of thousands of consumers and trying to do a lot of microtransactions, digital transactions. Just Ethereum wasn't really built for that at the end of the day. So I was like, nice ideas, but then a corner for now. So then fast forward to 2020, and now the company has started to do these kind of metaverse events. So we did digital activations in the sports and music industry with people like Major League Baseball. We did digital baseball events. Universal Music, we did digital K-pop events. And so now, again, these were all at the end of the day going to monetize with digital assets. So people wearing items, people using items and experiences. And I was like, okay, let's try the blockchain thing again. Because I was like, you have this kind of ecosystem of different experiences, all owned by different counterparties. And you need some kind of central ledger that they can all trust and kind of be part of. And I was like, blockchain is a good solution here. So again, start looking at all of the chains in the market at that point in time. Technology has come forward a lot at this point, but the problem we had was still performance. These events, you would get tens of thousands of consumers show up, all trying to interact on chain at the same time, just wasn't really working out. And so you still had a scalability problem, particularly in the EVM ecosystem, which I was very wedded to because it had all the developers basically were there. And I was like, we have to be on the EVM. I've made mistakes in my career in the past where I've tried to take technologies with new programming languages to market. It was a nightmare. I failed, spent tens of millions of dollars, did not work out. So I was like, we must be on top of the EVM as well. And nothing was fast enough, basically. So that's when we started looking at Somnia, then spun that out and have now taken that to market. So that's my journey. I'm an engineer at heart, but I don't really get to code very much anymore, unfortunately.
You moved away. It's been pulled out of your hands to some extent.
It's sad. I do in my spare time. AI has made me an engineer again.